Paltrocast.
Hi, Ian. How's it going there?
Hi, Darren. Yeah, fine. And yourself?
I'm great because I'm talking to the legendary Ian Hill again. Is it back-to-back interviews today?
Yeah, it's just a busy day, yeah.
I think that's because the world wants to talk to Ian Hill. So leading straight into it, I'm excited to be seeing your show at the Nassau Coliseum. And that's a venue you have a lot of history with. Did you first play there maybe 82, 83?
Yeah, it was. I think it was possibly 82, definitely 83, but possibly 82, yeah. It was a Madison Square Gardens, generally up until then. And then we went over to there. Oh, yeah, 83, I would say.
Wow. So that, you're celebrating 50 years of all that kind of stuff, but that's 40 years basically of playing the Nassau Coliseum, coming to Long Island this many years. Did you ever get to explore Long Island, or is it always a go to the arena, back to the hotel kind of market?
That's your life story, really, when you're on the road. It's one hotel after another, punctuated by, 2 hours of intense activity.
For sure.
It's one of the sad things, people say, oh, it must be great traveling to all these wonderful places. Yeah, it would be if you got a chance to go explore, but I mean, over the years, yeah, we've got to, it takes time, but every now and again you get a day off somewhere. And over the last 50 years or so, we've seen most places we visit, at least once.
I've heard rumors that Judas Priest was a golf course band. Like, it gets to the city, it finds the golf course, and then later goes to the sound check. Is that true?
Oh, that was mainly Ken and Glenn. Yeah, I had a go as well. I'm never any good. I didn't play often enough, to be honest. That was my trouble. But Ken and Glenn, they were obsessed with it at one point.
Right. Well, hey, hearkening back to that 50 years, incredible. There's that famous Mick Jagger quote where he said, I don't want to be playing Satisfaction when I'm 30. When you were first having all the hits, did you have I'm not going to be doing this after I'm 40, or did you have any kind of a timeline like that?
No, not really. I mean, fans' favourite songs are favourites for a reason, basically, they're our favourites as well for the same reasons, so we always enjoyed playing them. Obviously you have to start dropping them sooner or later because new music comes along, and you've got to try and fit the new songs in there somewhere, so every time you do that, you're going to have to drop somebody's favourite. It's a shame, but it's a necessary thing, But we always try and have a good spectrum of old songs, new songs, the fans' favourites, maybe a few surprises that we haven't played for a long time, or we haven't played at all, maybe, But I think we do a pretty good job, about as good as anybody could do, probably.
Yeah, I love Firepower. I thought the Firepower was one of the best reunion-ish, if that's what you want to call it, but one of the best new albums by a classic band. When you recorded it, did you know that it was great? Or is it you don't pay attention to the reviews and eventually saw, oh, this is great, and you were happy?
No, we knew we were onto a good thing. The material was great. It was going down well as well, and with Andy Sneap and Tom Allen, it was a dream team there in the studio. Mm-hmm. And like I say, but we were putting it down, and we knew it was exciting and relevant and fresh. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying beginning, but we knew people would like it.
Do you remember around how many songs you wrote to pare it down to what made the album? Like, is Judas Priest one of those we'll write 40 to get it down to 12 kind of bands?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we had, how many was on the album? Was it 16, 17 on the album? I can't remember how many songs on the album now. But I think we had over 20 songs. But they're not discarded, by the way. At least 3 of the 4 songs that didn't make it probably going to make it onto the next album. The reworking, So we never throw anything away, really. And because the song hasn't made it on one album, doesn't mean to say it's of a lower quality. It just means it didn't particularly fit, you know. There's already a song, you know, that felt a similar way, or you know what I mean. You don't want a whole album full of slow, heavy songs any more than you want an album full of, you know, 200-mile-an-hour fast ones. You know, there's a balance there, and the album flows from start to finish with a bit of luck. And like I say, that's the reason that the songs don't make it on one album, end up going on the next one. You know?
As a band that has multiple songwriters that can be prolific with different voices, how does the material usually get shared around Judas Priest? Are you a Dropbox band or a Google Drive band?
The Dropbox, yeah, we generally use Dropbox. Not that I'm endorsing it or anything. Don't know a great deal about it. Stuff comes in, I open it and it works. So, you know, that's okay by me.
Well, I ask that because some bands are still, you know, sending it through snail mail. They don't want the stuff digitized or potentially leaked, or particular members are not internet savvy. And obviously, you are internet savvy based on this conversation.
Really well, to a certain extent, yes. But if anything goes wrong, I mean, I'm lost. I have daily arguments with the printer.
Well, when did you first become internet savvy? Early 2000s?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up with the whole thing, you know. But then you tend to have one system for doing one thing or another, and then something else comes along, and you're still stuck with that system, and that becomes obsolete, and you think, oh Christ, is it really worth trying to get into the new one? And just being lazy probably. I don't keep on top of it, you know. I've been using the same kind of things for a long time. And the only reason I change them is because, you know, like I said, they've become obsolete or people don't use them anymore or whatever. But I would say semi-computer savvy.
Well, if your albums have digital recording elements, your social media accounts are up to date. You know, one of my favorite bands ever besides Judas Priest is Van Halen. I don't think Van Halen has updated its social media accounts in 5 years, something like that. So I think you're far ahead of a lot of your peers.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
So going back to the 50 years or so of success of Judas Priest, we've seen different various out of nowhere kind of peaks, because I remember in the early 2000s when Sum 41 started covering Judas Priest, and even though they were a punk band, they were flying the metal flag. Do you remember the first time where you felt like, okay, we're going to be just fine and we don't need hits because our legacy is carrying on through new bands?
No, not really. I mean, we've never thought about it, to be perfectly honest. I mean, we don't need to do it anymore. I mean, the only reason we do this is because we enjoy it these days, you know. And of course, we've got to have a loyal following of fans as well, and we feel very fond of them. I mean, we like to keep them happy, and that's why we do. We never really thought of not doing it. We're not stupid. We know we're getting old, and we know we can't do it for much longer, you know. But we'll do it for as long as we can. Mm-hmm. And do our best to enjoy it as well, you know.
Well, I think it's fantastic that, I'm not saying that it was a bottom, but when you guys were on the second stage of Ozfest, a lot of bands of your position would have given up, but you turned the ship around, wound up back into a new great major label recording deal, wound up back in the arenas. So it's a wonderful turnaround story that was achieved. You know, 2-3 slow years of big theaters and then back to the arenas. That's where I'm going with that.
Yeah. I mean, things ebb and flow, don't they? You know.
Yeah.
There's sort of bands that, you know, things sort of, the head pops up above the parapet, then it goes down again, and he goes in a wave motion, throughout anybody's career. I think there's ups and downs there.
Well, down to my last 2 or 3 quick questions here, and then I'm going to let you go. The first one is, one of the things that intrigues me most about Judas Priest are the recordings that you did with Stock, Aitken, Waterman, and we've seen a clip or 2 of that leaked over the years. Will we ever see that officially released, or is that just in the vaults for a reason?
I doubt it. I can't see any point in it. It won't do anybody any good, really. Apart from just a curiosity, really. But it's a long time ago now. We're talking 80s, I think. So whether it's relevant now, I doubt it. I doubt it. Then again, we're not in total control of that. There's other people that have got a say in it as well. So never know. You never know. But if it was left up to me, no, there's not a great deal of point.
To me, the comparable thing of that is that Mariah Carey has made news headlines the past couple of weeks that she made a grunge album in the mid-90s that Sony didn't want to put out. And now people are going, you put it out, and she's going, okay.
Well, yeah, why not? She's got a lot in front of her, so he might do some good. Might open a new avenue up for her,
Next question I have. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, congratulations. I'd have to assume, tell me if I'm wrong here, it's one of those things where you were going, this does not define me in any way, but once you get it, you open the bottle of champagne.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, these things come and go. And you're nominated for this or that or whatever. And you get excited for a while, and then you get let down on so many occasions. You think, oh, forget it, and you don't lose any sleep. I mean, just from a vulgar commercial point of view, it doesn't really do you any good. It's not going to earn you any money. But yeah, it's great to be recognised by your peers. It's a different sort of thing, isn't it? When from your fans. I mean. To be recognised by the people who also do it, and we're honoured to be part of it. It's taken a long time, but we're honoured nonetheless.
Cool. The last thing I want to know, another one of my favorite bands. It sounds like I have all these favorite bands, but it's the truth here. Another one of them is Cheap Trick, and the last time I saw Cheap Trick, the Rick Nielsen's son is playing drums. Robin Zander's son is playing guitar and keyboards. Are there any sons of Priest or daughters of Priest that are in the musical world?
My son's a damn good bass player, yeah. It's difficult to get on these days. It really is. It's practically impossible, the way things are at the moment. Everybody seems to expect the music for nothing, And he tried for years and years, and I backed him as much as I could. But in the end, he had to hold his hands up together with his bandmates. He's in a band now, but he's doing it on a semi-pro basis. But it's a shame, He was with some great bands over the years. He was in a band with Tony Iommi's daughter at one point.
Wow.
And if they can't get flipping arrested, I mean, just the names alone, you'd have thought somebody would have picked them up, but no, nobody seems to be interested anymore, But
I'm interested.
Glenn's son, Ricky, plays a bit of guitar as well, And we're the only people in the band who've got kids, Everybody else they didn't bother having them. But yeah, it's a shame the way the industry's gone, really. It's basically, I mean, record companies, they're the perennial source of investment in new music. But they don't invest in it because they like you. They do it because they think they're going to make money out of it,
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that, nothing whatsoever wrong with that. Because if they're making money, so are you. But of course, now with streaming and things like that, that investment's not there, but there's no money to be had, Out of traditional recordings, obviously there's stream and stuff like that. Although I don't really understand how people get paid off that. I really don't,
Yeah.
But like I said, the traditional way now, it's sort of near impossible to get on.
Got it. Well, I'm excited for this Nassau Coliseum show. Thank you for the many years of great music and looking forward to all the future touring that we're going to get.
Darren, it's been a pleasure, mate. Anytime. And we'll see you in Nassau.
Thank you, Ian. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.
Yeah, be safe. Bye-bye.
Paltrocast.